Good morning, YouTube. Another sweltering day here in the shop, but we're gonna get some progress done. Got an iced coffee and some rusty trucks, so you know it's gonna be a good day. So to get you caught up, F100 runs and drives now. There's a lot of loose end stuff that needs to be done inside the cab, integrating some of the OEM stuff into the F100 cab, getting all that to work properly. A lot of wire tucking that needs to be done, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do that. I want to put a bed on this thing because I want it to look like a complete pickup truck. So many people like, man, I can't wait to see the bed. Oh, it's going to look so good with the bed. And I agree. I want to see it too. So, catch you up, 59 F100, 2010 Crown Victoria chassis. This truck was factory long bed, so the wheelbase is not correct. If it was a short bed, it still would not be correct. So one of the advantages of finding this particular truck is that we have the ability to cut it down and make the wheelbase perfect. Now, I've seen a lot of people go in and they'll kind of like compromise wheelbase, meaning have the tire a little far forward or a little far rear in the wheel well to make it all work. And that's fine. If I had an original paint patina, good looking truck, and I wanted to do this, I wouldn't cut it up. If it was a short bed, I wouldn't cut it up. I would just sacrifice the wheelbase a little bit and just drive it just to save the look. But that's not this truck. This truck is a perfect candidate to cut up. So let's show you what we're working with. She's a long bed. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna take this guy and make it look like this guy. So once again, jumped ahead and didn't film because I had a little extra time, and yeah, you don't want to see me struggling and figuring this stuff out. So I went ahead and did it off camera. As you can see, we cut the bed down, welded it up, and put a nice little bed scar, as people call them. So took 3 inches out of the front, and that gives us about a 3/4-ish gap to the cab, and puts the wheel well dead center in the back. Now the back here, this was a different story. Also got the nice little bed scar, but you notice she's a little wider. That was partially my bad and partially the bad of whoever fixed this thing a million years ago. Down here at the bottom, it had like a lower bedside pieced into it years ago, probably before I was ever born. And they didn't dolly it out very well, and it had a lot of body work right here. So part of the reason this bed scar is wider is because I had to have a little extra meat to dolly the existing metal on each side flat enough to weld it straight. And also I cut it a little too short to begin with, so I added a little piece back in it, but it looks neat. I like it. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna experiment with some, I have to look it up again, it's like peroxide and vinegar or something to make it rust. It'll be like 2 rusty streaks on the truck. It'll look neat, and I just think as cool as the bed scars look, they stand out too much being shiny and the rest of the truck being so patina. So yeah, the back ended up being 11 inches we took out. The front was 3. So what's that, 14 total? And that gives us a medium bed. I haven't measured it, but I think it's around 7 1/4 feet. I don't know, but it laid good proportions down. So the proportions look good on the Fords. For the Ford guys out there, you'll know that on the backs of the beds typically are longer than the front of the bed. I hate that. So I made the back of the bed shorter than the front of the bed. Now it looks more like your Dodges and Chevrolets, how they would look. And that's just what I like, so that's what we did. And also, come around the inside. It's kind of dark, but cut out the wheel well. We'll show more of that because that's not the final cut anyway. But yeah, so now that I have this side figured out and know exactly what to do, I'll show you how to do it on this side, so I don't fumble around and look like an idiot the entire time. So here we go. There's a little time lapse and a little explanation for you. Now, time to get started on cutting this guy up. So don't be intimidated by doing this. For this generation and a lot of the pickup trucks out there, this is actually really easy. You just have to take your time, make plenty of measurements, plenty of marks, and just pay attention to what you're doing, slow down, be all right. The 67 to 72 Chevrolets are pretty tricky because their body line kind of tapers down at the back. Fords don't. So everything's just square. You get everything square, level, plumb, true, flush, weld it back together, you're good to go. So we talked about we're taking 11 inches out of the back, and we're starting with the back because why not? So on these trucks and a lot of your old classic trucks, this skin is also the inside of the bed as well. What I mean by that is like some of the later ones have an inner bed side and an outer bed side. This one only has outer bed sides. With that being said, the stake pocket at the top, the square hole, is welded down through here about 3.5 to 4 inches back from the back here. So none of this you can really cut without drilling all of these spot welds out and causing a big headache. So moving forward to that, you can cut anywhere you want to up until this, body line at the wheel well. So what I picked is this area, and the reason being, it's got 3 pretty bad rust holes right here. It just so happens that 11 inches will delete all of our rust holes, and that's going to put the cut mark a little further forward than the other side, but like the old saying goes, you can only see one side at a time. So yeah, I'm going to cut this one. So I laid the first down, the first mark, and what I like to do is always go from the outside edge, meaning when I put this one down and this one down, this will be 11 inches total when the tape is gone. So the cut line will be on this outer edge and the outer edge on the other piece I put in. So I found my last rust hole and enough meat on the other side of it to weld to. And I made a measurement from there to this back flange, and then just made sure this piece was, square down the side of it. And now we go 11 inches forward, and what I do is I take an old tape measure and cut a foot section out of it because it's real easy to work with, and unlike a ruler, it's pretty flexible. So neat little handy thing to keep around. Even Taylor made him one, proving that he does listen to me from time to time. So you just take, and you get to your 11-inch mark, you want 11 inches out, you make a mark. You just take your time, make sure you make plenty of marks, all in the same spot, or the same 11-inch mark. And I've already done a few more of those already. So then you just take your tape, and like I said, just pay attention to which side of the tape you're on, because your 11-inch cut can go up to a 13-inch cut really quick with 1-inch tape. So just kind of roughly lay this on here, and then you just kind of follow the dots. See, that'll perfectly take out that big rust hole. And there's one right there. Actually, there's 4 total, I guess. So now we know everything in here can be cut out. So now we get to ruin another bedside. Hey, a little sneak peek, but before we go any farther, make sure you like and subscribe, share. Let's keep spreading the love, keep growing this channel, having fun. Back to the action. I tell you, there's nothing like getting done with a long, hard day's work and being able just to sit back, relax on the tailgate of your Crown Victoria. Not a lot of people can say that, but we can. Yeah, so hey, check it out. We have a bed, we have a tailgate. It looks more and more like a truck every time you see it. So let me kind of walk you around and show you some of the things we've done. So as you remember, we left off cutting up the bedside, shortening them down, and we walked through the rear section, how we brought it down 11 inches. Saw how we brought in these beautiful little bed scars here, add some nice character to it. And in the front, did the same thing, 3 inches out of this guy, and we had a rust hole here, so I decided just to go zigzag right around it. Add some more character, and with this kind of truck, who cares? This makes it kind of a little neater. You know, maybe that's one more conversation starter for someone. I don't know. But yeah, so, and most exciting to me is the tailgate, because where else are you going to be able to sit back and relax and have some knot beers, which we need to work on because we're out of them right now. It's been a long weekend. Yeah, so show you what we did here. All of this stuff was missing, so went to Home Depot and picked up some of this nice rusty chain. It's actually a brand new chain. I just painted it with some, I think they call it satin espresso paint. And yeah, just made some nice little simple tabs here. And factory, the corner of the tailgate is like way stepped down right here. All of this stuff is broken off, so I don't even know what it's supposed to look like. But I made this plate here, 3/16. Now you just put that guy there. The holes line up. Boop. There you go. Tailgate's latched. And yeah, do that on the other side, and boom, done. Simple little, nice, just round tube, thick wall round tube. I made a plate with a stud and a bolt. Well, you know, all that's bolted down nice and tight. Yeah, I mean, just check a little of this final product out. I mean, come on. That's pretty sexy. And one thing we did while I was out, if anyone knows these refrigerator trucks, the bedside, they come down, they slope out like this, and in factory, this turns, and this lip, this section here, points way back in it. I don't know what, maybe 30-degree angle, goes way back in there. So when it was off, I was able to take and just hammer and dolly and really work and beat and get all that. So now that flares out real subtle, and now I'm getting basically a knuckles clearance all the way through. So in theory, I shouldn't have to worry about rubbing, and I'll be able to keep these 235, 55, 17s on the back for that nice meaty look. On the front, not so lucky. The front did not want to be dollied and hammered, so what I ended up doing here is I took some slices, some pie cuts, and flared everything out, welded it up, and I body worked it. Now, all this is going to get, you know, patina blended and everything, but here we have, I mean, a lot of clearance, but still rubbing when we turn, full lock. So we're going to go with a little narrower tire here. Called up our boys at Kessler Tire, and they're gonna get us some either 215s or 205, something, take a little width out of it, take a little height out of the sidewall. It'll be cool. It'll give us that front to rear stagger look. Speaking of looks, look at this thing. So stinking cool. Really coming together. The big, bold tailgate, in-your-face Ford letters. Now we need a bumper. I know we need a bumper. We got to figure out what to do down here. Do we do a chrome thing? Do we do some kind of painted thing? Do we hand fabricate a bumper? That's probably way overcomplicating it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to sleep on that one. Yeah, so this is all really cool. Everything's neat. Obviously got to do a little patina blending. Did the other fender, but that just kind of gives you an overall essence of it. So to kind of show you what we did here, this is 1x1 11 gauge or 1/8 inch. So ran a piece of that all the way across the front, and what you can't see is this head gate has plug welds coming in from the front all the way across. So that's all tied together in the bottom of the stake pockets right here, welded perimeter, and then use just some more 1x1 going straight down to the frame. And on the top, we plated the top, and the plate has a hole in a nut. So I mean, none of this stuff's tight, but so now you just bolt it right down and she's rock solid. All right, coming around to the back, we got same 1x3 11 gauge or 1/8 wall. I think I said that at the front, but yes, both front are 1x3 1/8 wall, tied in here to the stake pockets, top and bottom. And here I was going to start making new mounts for this, and I remember I still had these guys left over from the F100 frame. So those are the factory bed mounts, just cut, flipped, shortened, ground, boom, repurposed. Less money, better for the total investment or budget. Ended up taking 9.5 inches off the back of the frame to get the, to get everything inside. And that worked out really well. I took the factory rear tie bar here, so this guy, and took it, flipped it backwards, and re-welded it back on each side. So that's just like it was factory. You see where we tied in the bar there. So yeah, I mean, all this is just as strong and sturdy as it was factory. Now, I'll be the first to admit, for a long time, this was my least favorite F100. But after, well, I mean, buying it for $300 had a lot to do with it, but now that I have one and start messing with them, these are pretty cool. They're pretty neat. Being that a lot of people don't think they're cool, there's not a lot of them around. Everyone that comes by the shop is like, hey, I haven't seen one of those for years, or oh, I forgot about those trucks, or whatever. So it's kind of cool to bring one back to life for the people. So yeah, one more little look here, seeing the bed. Now inside the bed here, don't pay attention to that exhaust pipe. That's next episode. We're going to get wood. I want to do, it's going to be full, well, basically full depth in here. Wood's going to come back up across this big doghouse. And then I'm real torn on going all the way back with it or turning down just to get that little extra bed space to have the coolers and chairs and whatnot. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, I'm out of here. It's been a long day, Sunday. It's getting late. Time to take a shower and get a few hours sleep before I have to come back here tomorrow. Whatever. We love it. We have fun with it. And yeah, hey, like and subscribe. Appreciate everyone tuning in. The channel's growing pretty dang rapidly. Pretty stoked about it. So yeah, tell your friends, buddies. Give us a thumbs up, down, constructive criticism, whatever you need. Hey, we're here to grow the community. So until next time, see ya.